Hey, Below came out. Nice. Ooh, $25 or free on Games Pass. $1, say you? Wow. Don't mind if I do. Uh-oh. God. Hello? Anyone? Jen? Copper? Help. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Whoa! That was scary! Damn. So Below Sneak Attack came out in December of 2018, right before I got married. That's why I missed it. Now, I've been following this game since 2013. I've been following it to the point where it looked like it was canceled or delayed indefinitely back in 2016, 17, and then I saw in 2018 it was like rising from the ashes. Below is finally coming out. There was no release date, and then before I knew it, I was on my honeymoon, and I was looking it up, as I periodically do, and it was out. So, immediately, I'm like, oh God, I need to pick this up. So I got home to download it. It's $25, but I noticed it was on Games Pass, and Games Pass had a special going where you could get it for a month for $1. So, for $1, I put 36 hours into this game, which I did not expect a 36-hour adventure, but that's what I got. So let's get into it. Below is a survival game that's kind of a take on an action-adventure, almost in the Legend of Zelda style. There's no story, there's no dialogue, there's no NPCs at all. You land on an island and it's explore. Below is obviously because you're going down below levels, and you start on level 1 and you can go all the way down to level 20, though it's not exactly 1 to 20. There is no level 8, there is no level 12, 13, such and such. Like there's blocks of levels. It's really, there's the cavern area, there's the one ice level, there's the kind of cultist dark crypt area, then there's the horrible dark that lasts for far too long and is impossible to get through until you get to the bottom, which then unlocks a kind of a bonus area, which there's 2 bonus areas that lead you down to get to light shards, which let's get into it. So you have a basic attack, you have a dive. It's almost Dark Souls-like in the way you can dodge and attack things, and you have a shield to block and whatnot. There's a lot of parrying that you can do, although really it's just slashing back and forth. For the most part, the enemies aren't too dangerous on the first several levels until you get down to level 14, and then it just gets brutally hard because you're in pitch black world, and these things that come and attack you unless you can hit these light crystals that keep them from coming. But you have 3 things you have to worry about. You have to worry about your food, you have to worry about your warmth, and you have to worry about your water. Now, warmth is only really affected in that one ice area I was telling you about, and then the bonus area that's in the ice area. Other than that, that never becomes a factor. Water isn't really a factor either because there's a lot of water strewn about, and then once you get to these fires where you can set up a checkpoint and make the fire blue, you can also fall asleep and enter what they call the pocket, and the pocket is like your storage room for where you can keep stuff between deaths, because this is a roguelike. If you die, you lose everything. And much like Dark Souls, if you have a bunch of materials on you, all that is left at your corpse, and if you die again, all that stuff disappears, because allegedly it's like 200-300 years in between each one of these adventurers going. Now, for the most part, deaths are far and few between, except for if you run over spikes. Spikes are the number one thing that killed me in this game, was running over spikes. Even when you get to floor 20, where it seems like nothing's going to hit you, it's a desert world, one of the 3 temples that have all these chests in them has spikes, and killed me the first time I got down there, and really pissed me off. So yeah, you have to deal with that. The food is the one thing you have to worry about, because like I said, in the pocket you can get water in there. The food is the one thing that runs out. And you make food Breath of the Wild style by collecting and harvesting plants and animals, and then going and making stews with them in your bottles. And now you start each one with one bottle, but if you die, you can collect the old bottles on the old corpse. So after a while, you can kind of plan it where you farm the early levels, and then go die someplace safe where you can retrieve your body, and then get the stuff back, and then continue on from there. Which, that's a kind of a good and a bad thing. My number one complaint with the game is that it's very slow at times. The load times between screens take a long time. But it takes a long time to get from A to B. As small as the world is, because your character is so small, it takes a long time to traverse through it. And you can spend 20, 30, 40, 2 hours getting yourself prepared to make the next venture. Because what happens is, on the top of the mountain where your boat lands, you find a lantern. And that lantern illuminates stuff on the island and allows you to progress through hidden walls and also, defeat certain things. And you also will find shards of this lamp hidden throughout the game. And it took me a while to even figure out what these did. They're like little orbs, and you have to focus your lantern on it, and then that will absorb the orb and show you how much of the lantern you've got. And that's what's so cool about the game, is it's all discovery. Like, there's discovery around every corner, but it's also incredibly frustrating at the same time. I've never been more satisfied by a game and also more frustrated by the game in years. So really, it's kind of that dichotomy you have to deal with. The survival aspects aren't that big a deal. I'm usually not a big survival fan of games. That irritates the hell out of me. I didn't like it when they added it to Minecraft, but this one didn't bother me. And also, it has a crafting system, which on the surface annoyed the hell out of me too, but then it's very simple. Like, you'll learn, the blood moss, the slime, and the leather makes a bandage that will prevent bleed damage and then heal you up. Like, you can get damaged and bleed if you put a band-aid on it, or if you cauterize the wound at one of the various little fire things, it stops it from bleeding. So there's a lot of cool real-world physics in it. Like, there's a lot of logic behind the game. It makes sense. It took 5 years to make, because there's a lot of little nuance and stuff like that that's hard to see. But it's also, is it worth doing? I don't know. That's going to be up to you. That's kind of where I am on this game. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to spoil, but I'm going to leave it at that. That is your Lucious T review. If I was going to give this game a rating, play it. It's worth a playthrough, especially if you have Games Pass. Hell, it's worth getting Games Pass just to play this, because I was willing to spend the $25 for it, but playing it for $1 for 36 hours, even though I had Resident Evil 2 Remake there looking at me, it was definitely worth playing. But I beat the game. I actually went through and beat the damn thing, and it's such a slog, because if you get down to the bottom floors and you die, you lose the lantern, and then you have to make all the way back to where the lantern is, because it doesn't despawn. And you need the lantern to get through certain spots, but once you get to the lower levels, if you have the lantern on you, these dark tendrils come out and will just wreck your house, wreck your day. Like, it's just impossible. So you have to get down there with tons of crystals to light the lantern, because you can stun them, and then you have to just dodge roll and avoid the spike floors. And at a certain point, I got so good at it that I didn't even notice the other enemies coming at me, but it took a while. It took a good amount of practice to get to that thing. So yeah, that was my biggest annoyance with the game. First few hours of it is amazing, and then it descends into a horrible slog. So I would play it. I wouldn't beat it.